I would like to invite Professor Mohan L. Verma. Yesterday, Rasmi Priya Topo introduced Professor Mohan L. Verma in the hands-on session. Let me add some new aspect about Professor Verma. Professor Verma did his master from Pandit Ravi Shankar Shukla University and did PhD from the same institute in solid state ionics. Professor Verma's research field of interest includes mathematical modeling, DFT based first principle studies, molecular mechanics and molecular dynamics simulation. 3 students completed their doctorate under his supervisions and 5 others are working as for their doctorate degree. He has published more than 100 research papers in national and international journals. At present, he is working in collaborations with many national and international scientists. Professor Verma is core member of research group of one of eminent scientists, Professor Ravind Pandey group. Apart from doing physics, Professor Verma is a good poet. You can read his poem from his web page. One of his poem is Sikayat. आप लोग web page उनका खोल के उसको जरूर पढ़ेंगे. Now I invite Professor Verma for his invited talk, sir.
Professor Mohanlal Verma sir, are you there? Maybe he has taken tea break, so let's take a 5 minutes break for tea break.
ओके नहीं मैं जस्ट कनेक्ट हो गया हूँ थोड़ा फाइल डाउनलोड कर रहा था अवस्था करके मुझे पता नहीं चल रहा था मैंने ओके जस्ट 1 मिनट में होता हूँ
Now next session is start as sir has joined.
Excuse me, make little 5 minutes tea break, then everybody will be little relaxed. नहीं तो हल्की सी जलवा देते हैं नहीं मोहन you have already told 5 minutes break, so keep 5 minutes, then it is good.
Sir, actually the session actually delayed a bit, so we did because hands-on session will be affected if we
okay हाँ मोहन फिर चालू कर दो यार.
हाँ ठीक यस. Where is the Zoom? Okay, so let me share my screen. My screen is okay, visible to all, shared properly or not?
Yeah, excellent.
Okay, so thank you the organizer, especially that Awadhya ma'am, for giving me a chance to be the part of this wonderful international workshop, and this is both related to experimental and as well as simulation. So This is also in the hybrid mode. So I am also the hybrid person related to the simulation as well as experimental work. And the topic is related to that DFT exercise in the perspective of biosolar cell. So this topic is also hybrid one, because that solar cell experimental data well given by my senior, my sir, Gupta sir, and that was very well explained. And I am including some DFT based exercise on this biosolar cell. And in the yesterday, that the lecture given by Professor Pandey, that this bio term is now a very fascinating term nowadays, and one should go for this bio terms and biophysics, biomedical, medical physics like terms. So I am using this biosolar cell. So some DFT based studies I will include in my talk. So first of all, I'm very much thankful to my guide, Dr. Rakesh Chandra Agrawal, Dr. Ravi Pandey sir, and Dr. Rodrigo. Because of all these three, their blessings, I am here and able to talk in front of you all. And this also my team. I'm very much thankful to my team, that B.K. Shorao, Ajay, and Aarti, Nirbhay, Homendra Das. And these are my PhD students, and they did good work on mathematical modeling in the experimental field too. And some DFT based students, that Rachana Singh, Upma, Swati, Harsa, and Tikam Soni, and many other students connected with me directly, indirectly, because I learned a lot from my students. So I am very much thankful to all this. This is my institution, Sri Shankaracharya Technical Campus. This is the lab, and this picture, the memorable picture. This is from in the year of 1900 and that 2013, when one international workshop was organized here, and Mr. Rodrigo was with us for a week. This is my lab. And the computational tool we are using, and that during hands-on training, Mr. Narendra and myself also give some glimpse on this installation of some tools, and in the application we will discuss today. So outline the ST functional theory at a glance, and what we are doing in my lab using this, and energy materials, batteries, solar cells, and obviously including that biosolar cells, some computer-based experiment, and how we start working with this system. So individually, as experimental, mathematical, and computational research, if they are doing individual work without helping each other, this the scheme will be like this. The result will be different, and the prediction of result that will be not comparable. So we have to work as a team, and there's as yesterday Mr. Rodrigo as well as Professor Pandey told us that we need to help experimentalists. We have to take the data from there and solve some problems they are facing, because they are blended with some physical conditions, and these computational tools we can have lots of flexibility. So this is that size and time reason we are working, and that it's a time this quantum mechanical we are using in the DFT with this picosecond time and in a nanometer regime, and we are a good predictor of some results. And this one good example that which gives the role of this DFT in predicting the properties, that is this topological insulator. These are the materials whose surface is metallic, but materials as a particular inner part is insulator. And first it is developed studied by DFT, and then experimentalists design these materials in the lab. So DFT was the details of DFT was given by Rodrigo. So I am not going to the details of this. So I would like to summarize this slide as just this is one interdisciplinary subject where we work with electrons. So we can also work with atoms, but in this DFT, this in the quantum mechanical level, we work with electron density, and this is a good tool for chemistry persons, biology persons, as well as different materials, metallurgy persons, as well as physics too. Obviously, material science is related to all these interdisciplinary subjects. If anyone wants to study this DFT, so I suggest these papers as well as review articles and books to start that original, the original papers, and one should go through this initially to understand this DFT. Now, what we are doing in my lab using this system. Actually, I would like to say here this by showing all these slides. Just I want to show the capability of system by using system. What we can do. So that materials are in nanoresim. We are classified in the different dimensions, that 0 dimension, 1 dimensional, 2 dimensional, 3 dimensional materials. So we can in my lab we have tested all these materials, as Pandya sir told yesterday that they have a periodicity of 7 years to change the field. But I think I have just 1 or 2 years to change the subject from one material to another material. It depends on that questions asked by my students, and their ways to associate with me with different materials. So this is that 0 dimensional material. This is the work of Sakshi, and this is bulk cage-like structures, nanoparticles, and that jet buckyballs, and its optical properties. And in the lab session, we will discuss how we will get these plots and absorption coefficient by using this. So this is that 0 dimensional materials and nanoparticles. And then some more, the interaction of these 0 dimensional materials with the graphene, graphene planar structure. So the effect of this we have observed on the optical properties. So and these materials can be used as magnetic nanoparticles, because we have observed by doping some atoms to these nanomaterials, and we have observed its magnetic properties. And yesterday we were discussing about Adya ma'am, that by creating that defects with this nanoparticles, this cage-like structure can be enhance that magnetic property, and we can try further. So these magnetic nanoparticles are very useful in especially to detect or cure cancer, especially that breast cancers. Though that's why we are interested to work further in this, and one of that student also associated with. These are some new buckyball type structures studying in my lab, and Renu is associated with this, and she is doing good, getting good result. And these are that total energy, optimization energy, that cohesive energy, and magnetic moment, and how we will get, we will discuss in lab session. That and today I think Narendra will discuss about this that formation energy or that cohesive energy, how to calculate. This is the projected density of state and density of state. In solid state physics, we think about that density of state. This is that number of states, available states per unit energy, per unit volume. And when we just project up to it, up to its orbital, then that is known as the projected density of state. And by using this projected density of state, what we say, we just tell the contribution of these different orbitals in conduction and valence band. And the different devices, especially that property, depends on HOMO-LUMO gap, that band gap. So we calculate this band gap by using this band plot as well as DAS plot, and the contribution of that orbitals in different bands, it is given by projected density of state. So again, in today's session, we will discuss how to plot and how to get this projected density data. So now move to one dimensional, and this is a beauty of this DFT. We can manipulate materials. We can study the materials, and so just we have taken one chain of this boron nitrate and that carbon chain, one can say that graphene chain, and that combination composite of this BN and this graphene, and we observed the effect of pressure, we observed the effect of stress as well as electric field on these one-dimensional materials. So that obviously that density of state plots are here, and that Fermi energy level it is being changed from by the effect of that field. This is the charge density plot, and again Now, this charge density means that a distribution of electrons around any particular species, it is given by this. So again, in the lab session, we will see how we can get. This is now the two-dimensional. Now we are just increasing in one-dimensional chain. We are increasing its direction from y-axis, so we can get that two-dimensional material that is known as nano ribbon, and that these are the nano ribbons at a different thickness, and its band plots are given in this paper. Now the planar structures nowadays, that thin film technology, it is boom. So in this that counterpart or the second part of that, the theoretical, that is known as the planar structure. So we have designed this planar structure of TIN, HFN, ZRN type materials, and these materials are working as electrode materials for that photodiodes, photo cells are used in retinal implant. So this is related to medical field, and we are also studying its nano ribbons, and this is in patent mode. So here just I am showing one published papers related to this, and again these are the PDAs and that band plot, balance and conduction band of this. And then 2D stain is nanostructures, and this is related to electronic field, that is field effective transistor, and this is for the toxic gas sensors studied by Verma, and she is from Electronics and Telecommunication Department. So I have told that this is one interdisciplinary field, so one can study this, and the effect of toxic gas and this nano ribbon, it is the change is observed in PDAS or IV curve. Yesterday, Pandey sir mentioned that I have to show this, so I am including this. So that this is nano ribbon, and by putting that particular gas, we can observe the change in its behavior as projected density capacitance as well as IV curve. Now some more on this. This is wide-doped SNS2 monolayer, and this is that interaction with this gas material. So these are a very good gas sensors, and one can observe the change in IV curve that when we put that gas molecules on that surface. So there is a change in charge density distribution as well as this IV curve. And for this IV curve, we use a transistor. That transport properties discussed yesterday by Rodrigo sir, and these are that density capacitance in up spin and down spin. So we can include both spin of that electron given in different quantum numbers. Now these are the different gases emitted during that lung cancer. So for the sensor of this lung cancer, we can use these SNS2 materials, and we have studied this, and this is under publication. Now for the bulk materials, this silver iodide and the composite of silver iodide and copper iodide, and this is pure copper iodide. It's a movement from copper iodide to silver iodide, and silver iodide to copper iodide. So this is copper iodide, and we are replacing that copper elements, that silver elements with the copper elements, and observe that change in its optical property as well as electronic property especially. So there is a change in band gap and its optical property, and these are good optical materials. So this is three-dimensional material. Bulk type studies we can perform by using this system. Also another bulk materials, and again we have good optical properties of these Mn metal nitrides, that TIN, ZRN, and HFN. Now some biomaterial, that ketone is a very good electrolytic materials also. So we have studied its electronic properties by using transistor and resistor, and also observe the rotation of these molecules. Even one can use these molecules as a molecular switch. Nowadays, one nanomaterial in nanomaterial technology, electrical persons are just talking about that molecular switch. When we rotate the molecule and its behavior changes, and we have observed this theoretically by using this transistor band studies. So this is another molecules that is related to medical physics, and this is that materials related to the persons having some sugar problem. So that we have studied just a preliminary studies of that with homolumo studies, and that molecular testing, I think, yeah, this is molecular testing with ketosone. Sorry, this is not that D-glucose for the diabetes people. I'm sorry. And again, we can study very chemical properties using this homolumo studies, and that homo and lumo. These two terms are very familiar terms in the biomedical fields, biology persons as well as chemistry persons. Now the energy materials, we have this DFT batch studies of different materials, but to run all these devices, 0D, 2D devices, we need the power sources. So the batteries, supercapacitors, and all other storage devices we need. So we have classified these non-renewable and renewable energy sources, out of which that solar cell was discussed in the last lecture. And for these energy devices, we have studies in battery materials in our lab, and all these, this is that new host developed by Professor Gupta, and we have studied it's theoretically its electronic properties and also the ionic properties by using these DFT studies. And again, we have some more electrode materials studies by Rachana, and this is that polymeric materials, the interaction of AGI with the polymer chain we can studies. And we have the change in its ionic behavior, one can observe this. Now another composite materials with PO, this with lithium chloride for the lithium ionic batteries, and this is one more PO with sodium iodide. And I think as a summary I can say that we can study that polymeric materials efficiently by using Siesta. Now solar cells, it has been widely discussed with by Gupta sir, so I'm not going to the details of this, what is that solar cell, what is the classification, but one thing I would like to show here, that is it's a theoretical based studies. So nowadays many commercial and non-commercial tools are available to study that behavior of solar cell, because in experimental that studying materials and designing solar cells and using some trial and error based that is costly, as I have mentioned in last session. So first we suggest that experimentally that you should design that solar cell by using this particular material. So for that we need simulation. So for simulation we have different simulation tools, and many commercial tools are available, but these are free of cost. As my motto is just we have to study that simulation free of cost. So this is one tool available in my lab, that is and for simulate this solar cell, what we need it's a configuration, obviously chemical composition, and we can study by using Siesta. It's absorption coefficient and these optical properties, and its mobility of electrons and holes, band gap, and that effective mass, and all these effective mass, and all these can be studied theoretically. And you can go through my video channel to see how you can calculate all these parameters and put these parameters, and you can have this performance, whatever that parameter shown in the last lecture, one can calculate by using this simulation, by using this tool, that GP Videum. And these are parameters. So this is a screenshot. So this is also, this is available free of cost, and window based tool, so anyone can use this. Now this bio solar cells. So in that biology term, that chlorophyll, we know that chlorophyll is a very good absorber of sunlight, because this the technology of the solar cell, this depends on the absorption of sunlight at different angles, and especially that wavelength region, that visible range. And we know that plants plants are growing because of the absorption of that the sunlight and using that water and other things, and they're giving that glucose, oxygen, etc. So we know about that photosynthesis. So people, that experimental people, are thinking that when we extract that chlorophyll and we mix this chlorophyll with some organic materials for the solar cells, or that silicon based materials, and perform that studies. But that limited studies have been started so far, and obviously there are so many limitations. So one can again studies all these by using DFT. What we have to do, we have to look at the chemical structure of that chlorophyll, and study that interaction of the different optical materials already using in solar cells, and try to enhance its stability as well as that performance of that solar cell. So this is that chlorophyll, and that is schematic diagram given, and that details have been discussed in the mechanism is same. Nothing special, that p-type and n-type materials will be there, and that will absorb that electron donor electron receptor will be there, and the working is same. Now the details of chlorophyll for DFT studies. So this chlorophyll, this is actually the combination of two parts. This part is that light absorber part at the center, this Mg2, and it is connected with nitrogen, and that is known as phytoporphyrines by biology persons, and this chemical person, and this is phytol tail. So the role in the solar cell or that absorption is in this part, and on the basis of the value of this R1, R2, R3, and R4 at a different composition, this chlorophyll can be classified into chlorophyll A, B, D, and F. And this is very least studied so far. And that A and B, especially that chlorophyll B, it is mostly available. Studied by experimental person. So what we are doing in my lab, we have designed this chlorophyll. We have taken that structure from internet and optimized the structure by using Siesta. And these are different phases, X, Y, Z, different phases, and the structure is this. So this is the optimized structure of chlorophyll, and this is chlorophyll A. And we have studied this chlorophyll A, B, D, and F at the center, that is that MZ. So what I think, this is a good absorber, obviously, and just I will show that optical properties. But at the center, if I change that material in the place of MZ, what will be the effect? The simple questions, and just question must be there. So that MZ, okay, this is good material, and but if we replace this MZ with other materials, so I have taken randomly some atoms and replaced this MZ, then I have now this chlorophyll with its copper at the center, gallium. This is a very good materials related to optical properties. Zinc, this is also a good one. So this I have just replaced this MZ with its copper, gallium, and zinc, and observe its properties, that optical properties as well as that electronic properties, and I gauge this total energy, Fermi energy, the slightly change in Fermi energy, homolumo gap, that is and that cohesive and enthalpies. And what here we are observing that the behavior, that dust behavior is not much different of this A, B, D, and F, but its behavior is somewhat semiconducting, and that p-type and n-type semiconducting when we do this copper and zinc in place of this MZ. So this is a very good result, and I think this will change the optical behavior also. So let's see that optical properties. This is that absorption coefficient, and at this region, that is I should say this is the region where that it is absorbing that visible region, it is absorbing that light, and that I have just plotted that visible region also. So this blue color is related to F. Its absorption property is good at this visible region. So I can use this data and simulate the work by using that tool, and I can get results. So this is under study. I'm not going to the detail of this, and stability is also good. So now how we get all these results, what is DFT and how this, just I'm briefing this because almost two lectures have been given in this, what is that DFT and other things, and that Siesta also in the leaf session we have discussed. So obviously that this is electronic structure based theory, and I would like to say that DFT is actually the progress in DFT is actually the conversion of that Schrodinger equation into quantum equation. That Schrodinger equation, when we think about that wave function, many body problem, and this quantum equation will replace that wave function in the charge density, and that is a single one body problem. So there is a this actually took a lot of time to convert that Schrodinger equation to that quantum equation, and this is that generally we have different polyhedral models, Lorentz models in 1900, and obviously these models will have their own limitations, and then that Bloch's theorem that this is related to quantum theory, and then this that kinetic energy of this plot of energy K plot of these free electrons, as well as that localized electrons at different energy levels, that one particle inside that box in quantum physics we studied. So this is that band plot based on that. Now that a different approximation and discussed in details by Rodrigo sir. So these are different interaction between electron-electron, electron-nucleus, and nucleus-nucleus interaction, and that I'm not going to the details of this mathematics. So these are the terms. So in BO approximation, this is that nucleus, and these are that electrons. So the mass of this nucleus is very, very high, and so this is taken as stationary, and electrons are in motion, and it is calculated by this Mohan, and this is known as that Mohan, BO approximation, and then further modified by some other persons, that Hartree and Hartree approximation, and then this Hartree-Fock approximation, and every concept, that interaction of electrons and that replacement, the position, the changing of electrons, everything has been considered by this even that Pauli's exclusion principle. So lots of chemistry have been done in the development of this Schrodinger equation to quantum equation. So finally we have now that quantum equation, and this is we use this quantum equation to calculate that electron density. So this is that flow chart discussed yesterday also, that we start from that initial case of charge density, then we calculate this exchange voltage, and then we solve this quantum equation and then get new density. And if this new density is as per our requirement, then it's okay. Otherwise, we just restart this calculation, and this is continue up to that particular level. So we use that LDA and ZGA. So the details of this LDA and ZGA we have discussed in the lab session. So these are that these are the DFT tools. So we are using that Siesta out of this, and these are that tools we have discussed yesterday in lab session. Now computer experiment is Siesta. So during lab session, we have this Siesta, the details of Siesta tools we have mentioned. So this is a well documented software, and why we are using Siesta, because it's computationally very cheap. So other software took very high computational time. So one can use the i3 laptop and start Siesta learning and using Siesta for the material research. So this is that format for input file. So in the last day we have discussed different components of this input file, and it is well documented. And if anyone wants to study this Siesta, so I recommend that you once restart from this channel, that Siesta India, and some tutorials on molecular modeling. And this is especially for the beginners, and I'm getting good response from all over the world. They are doing good. And in my lab, we have designed some scripts to make that study easy as well as interactive. So these are that script developed, and these are some tutorials also we have developed to run the system. Okay, so sab electricity, water, and oxygen, these are very important components of the life. Thank you all, and thank you, listener, for your patience at lunch break at lunchtime. Thank you. Any question?
Myself, Vinay. Hello, good afternoon, sir. Myself,
Yes, good afternoon. Bolo.
sir, I have one question.
Yes.
During transistor calculation, we have reasons such as scattering reason, buffer reason, electric reason. So, sir, it is specific reasons where we put electrode or scatter the material, or we can put in any direction.
Actually, that obviously Siesta is a good tool and it's flexible also. Even input file is flexible, but sometimes for the transport, especially, we have to fix a specific direction. That direction may be either x-axis, y-axis, or z-axis. So that transistor tool is designed so far. We are using so far along z direction, because that configuration of electrode materials and wave, that active region, it's very important. What we take in transistor, we have two electrodes. One is that source, second is drain, and that that active region by which that electrons have to transport. That region is active region, or that you are saying scattering region. So either one should take along y-axis or z-axis, but so far we can only have to align that device z-axis. Maybe if you want to study that transport along y-axis, then you have to rotate the material, not that electrode. You have to pick the electrode and rotate the materials. Remember this. So you can study that, yes, that materials is now along y-axis, because yesterday I think Professor Dr. Rodrigo shown that transport properties along y-axis and x-axis. So what they have done, they did that one material is designed, and we have obviously that one direction is flat, two direction, there will be two direction along z-axis and y-axis or x-axis. Then by rotating that transport properties have been studied. So far you have to use z-axis.
One more question, sir, I want to add it. If I have a number of electrodes, say I have 5 layers.
Yeah.
Of electrons is say suppose 30 electrons.
Yeah.
Of atoms. So sometimes when I go through the test files or some YouTube channels, I found that starting 3 lines, they calculate it is an electrode. They mentioned electrode, and last 2 lines they add up in scattering or materials section. It is possible to add number of electrons, number of atoms of electrodes in materials.
Idea behind this is to avoid the direct contact between two electrodes.
Yes, sir.
If you have an device and that two electrodes are being connected directly, then what will happen experimentally? Just you can think that positive bias and negative bias, they are connected together. There will be a problem. So what we have, what in this transistor, what did we do? We take sufficient size of that active materials. Or if that is a simple molecule, if the size of that molecule is that, then we have to take some buffer layer. Buffer layer means that layer is not taking part in that calculation, but it is just avoiding to direct connection between that electrodes. So that's why that sometimes it is taken as 2 layer, 3 layer, sometimes 5 layer also. It's just to avoid the direct contact between these layers. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Gupta sir. Yes.
Very nice talk. Thank you so much. Lot of information.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Mohan, can we do one thing for electrolyte?
Yes.
See, for the solar cell, actually, we make redox couples.
Okay, sir.
For the batteries, actually, we have
Yes,
say lithium iodide. So we have lithium plus iodide. But here in this case, we have 3 ions.
okay, sir.
We have cobalt. For example, for the lithium iodide, for the iodide triiodide based system, we have iodide, I minus,
Yes, sir.
I3 minus, triiodide, and we also have lithium or potassium or something like that,
Something.
metal ion. Many
Yes.
times we have organic organic ions, cation. So is it possible
Yes,
to
sir.
add all 3 and then compute?
Yes, sir. What we will do, we just take that polymer or whatever that material first, and then we add that first atom, and then we optimize them. This actually that will keep up a proper position depending on that properties of that material. Then we add another material and then optimize, and then we add that third material and then we optimize. We can change the sequence also. We can check that if there is any effect by changing the sequence also. So ABC, if we have the material, then we will have that sequence ABC, then BCA and CBA or NA, that different combination, and check that. But it will take some time.
Mohan, actually, I am facing one problem.
Yes, sir.
Big problem, actually.
Yes, sir.
Major problem. See, iodide, triiodide, redox couples are very small.
Yes, sir.
Very small. But efficiency is less, 11.4% for dye-sensitized solar cell.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the highest value. But when you go for the cobalt-based system or copper-based system, you know, cobalt is big as compared to iodide. Triiodide is very, very big.
Yes.
But efficiency is very good. But this is for the liquid electrolyte. But when I used my material,
Yes, sir.
cobalt-based material, conductivity is very good. 7 into 10⁻⁴ Simon per centimeter at room temperature.
Yes.
And when I go for the, I did anionic effect also. I used imides anion with the triplet ion. Okay. So conductivity is good naturally with the imide ion, TFSI, as compared to your triplet ion. But when I use for the solar cell, efficiency is very, very low.
What is the reason we have?
Kachra. उठा के फेंक दो उसको.
Actually, chemistry people are.
I'm working. I'm making cell. But efficiency is the worst. 0.2. Can you imagine? In iodide, triiodide, I was getting 2%, 3.7%. Okay, but in case of the cobalt-based redox-mediated solid electrolyte, of course, efficiency is less than 1%, not 1%, 0.5%.
We can. Yes. We can.
Why? This is question. Why? So this answer you should give me.
Yes. I can. We can, sir. किसी एक स्टूडेंट को लगा दूंगा और आपको मटेरियल लेकर के उस पे सिमुलेशन करते हैं. So because I have that software tools also, so theoretically we can check that its efficiency, how much efficiency or other parameters are being changed by whatever that configuration we are using, whatever that material we are using, and how it depends on that ionization as well as that size of that particles or that elements. We can check, sir.
I can say my project is failed. You know. My NPST project is failed. Why? Yeah, electrolyte is very good. Main target, okay, done. But the thing is the device. So why you are making? For device, naturally. Yes. Solar cell. Yes. If you don't have good solar cell, no use. So why you have this problem?
Yes, we can search.
I'm trying. See, the Hegfeld group, the Gretzel group, they have complete facility from Sweden, from Switzerland. They have complete facility. They are reporting with liquid electrolyte. They are reporting 10%, 11%, 12%, 13%.
Excuse me, so we have a session.
Yes,
Yeah,
sorry, sorry.
so our
Sorry.
time can be endless. So
Okay,
okay, sir,
thank you.
I will definitely assign this work to any student, and then we will search the answer of your question, your problem. Okay, sir.
Thank you,
Sir,
sir.
for giving your time. वहाँ कितना time है अभी?
अभी 11:25
अच्छा,
morning है अभी भी.
यहाँ लोगों का
Lunch time.
lunch time हो गया. Okay, thank you, sir.
Have a nice lunch. Have a nice day.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Thanks all.
See
लंच
you.
करिए, फिर हम लोग फिर लाइव सेशन पे मिलते हैं.
Okay, okay. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your talk on density functional theory. That is definitely going to help us for our research. So thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, most welcome.
It would be okay to start hand-on session by 3 p.m.
I think we should start at 2:30. 30 minutes lunch break is okay. लोग अपना टिफिन कर लेंगे क्यों? नरेंद्र, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
I think we should start at 2:30.